Hi, Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Tuesday, July the 10th. Well, let's join the rest of the world in breathing a sigh of relief and rejoicing that 12 young Thai boys and their soccer coach all were safely rescued from a cave after a 2-week ordeal in the mountains of Thailand. It is sad that one Thai diver died in the process of trying to figure out how to rescue the group. It's been an amazing story. Big news last night was Donald Trump's appointment or nomination of Brett Kavanaugh, U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals judge, to fill a seat on the U.S. Supreme Court. He has a Little Rock past. He was a member of Whitewater prosecutor Kenneth Starr's team, and he had some elements of his time here that are worth remembering. For one thing, Robert Fisk had decided Vince Foster had killed himself. Starr rejuvenated that investigation. Kavanaugh led it, dug up all that unpainful stuff again before at least finally concluding at the end that yes, it was a suicide. He also was hot on the trail of doing something about prosecuting Bill Clinton and then later Hillary Clinton. He was terribly offended by the Lewinsky affair, but in 2003 wrote an opinion that said presidents shouldn't be criminally investigated. It just gets in the way of their work. You can imagine Donald Trump likes that opinion now. It was a change of how Kavanaugh viewed things when he was going after Bill Clinton, of course. The most interesting story that's developed today are reports that Justice Anthony Kennedy, who retired and created this opening, dickered with Donald Trump about his retirement, and when he was made clear to him by Trump that Kavanaugh would be the appointee, that then he agreed to retire. In the interim, he returned some opinions that were favorable to Trump. Not exactly a good-looking appearance for Justice Kennedy. The Democrats will fight this appointment. Whether they can stop it seems to be a long shot, I'd say. Certainly before November, when the election happens and perhaps changes the chemistry or the math in the Senate, I think it's going to be too long from now for them to be able to do anything. The Arkansas Lottery announced today that it finished the fiscal year, which ended June 30th, with record sales, about $500 million, but they're still far short of their highest net profit on the lottery, which provides scholarships, about the 5th highest in 10 years of operating the state lottery. Asa Hutchinson went on CNBC yesterday and said he has full faith and confidence in Donald Trump's trade abilities and thinks that he knows what he's doing in his tariffs with China. He allows that how right now it's looking a little painful for Arkansas farmers, and they hope they can work this thing out. Indeed, soybean farmers are taking a huge lick because of Trump's trade policies at the moment. City Director Erma Hendrix tells me today that she has begun a petition campaign for an initiated ordinance to put on the ballot in November that would end at-large city directors on the city board. She'll have to gather about 7,800 signatures and then have voters approve it. It'll at least cause a little nervousness among the at-large directors who love being kind of mayors of a sort on the city board. And of course, the business community controls those seats because they're expensive and are elected citywide. Yesterday afternoon at the Capitol, after 3 hours of hearing some bogus experts who love guns, a legislative committee reviewing recommendations for school safety adjourned without allowing the Moms Demand, the group that wants some sensible gun laws, to be heard at the hearing. Trent Garner, the senator from Camden, said, "These aren't my people," and he didn't seem at all concerned that they'd been shut out despite being signed up to appear at the meeting. They only wanted gun nuts to talk yesterday, and that's what they got, gun nuts that put out a bunch of bogus information about gun things. For example, the so-called experts said no background check could prevent a mass slaughter. Well, we know that there were 2 of them where if the universal background check law had been in place and had been properly applied, they wouldn't have been able to buy guns that they used in mass shootings, including Dylan Roof, who massacred people in a black church in South Carolina. Interesting article on Think Progress today, a liberal website, and you can find a link to it on arkansasblog.com. It's about the fact that while we're talking about whether a new Supreme Court justice will overturn Roe v. Wade and end a guarantee of abortion rights in the United States, that effectively abortion is going away in a number of states. They focus on Arkansas, where depending on how a current lawsuit turns out, we may be left with a single abortion clinic in the state. Planned Parenthood is trying hard to keep open clinics that provide pills that end pregnancies in the first few weeks of pregnancy. This article notes that Arkansas women in northwest Arkansas who used to be served by Planned Parenthood when the law took effect before a court injunction had to go to Kansas to seek an end to their pregnancies. Sentencing has been set in September for 4 people involved in the massive state bribery kickback scheme that sent hundreds of thousands of dollars illicitly to a little Christian college in Springdale called Ecclesia. 2 former legislators, Micah Neal and John Woods, will be among the 4 people sentenced, along with the former college president and a friend of the legislator and the college president who facilitated the bribery scheme. As yet, we're still waiting for an Arkansas public official like the governor or one of the many legislators who shipped this state money to this little college to ask for the money back. Nobody seems to be too embarrassed about that. We'll keep asking until somebody does. That's what resistance is about, asking questions even when you don't get them. Keep at it. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.